Hi everyone, this is Isa Teese. Here's a very important question to ask yourself. I've been speaking lately to several different people that really feel that there's a conspiracy theory going on in the world, that the government is controlling them, that everybody's hacking everybody. Of course, we see it in the things that we see on television and all of that kind of stuff. So it appears to be really happening. And guess what? It is, from one perspective. But the real question is, how do you be with that? Are you concerned about your privacy? Are you concerned about being hacked? Are you concerned that there's nowhere to hide? Well, ultimately, there wouldn't be anywhere to hide. And that ultimately, you wouldn't have to worry whether anybody saw anything that you had. So the question is, how much time do you spend being concerned about what other people think, about what the government is doing or not doing, whether you are being hovered over, or any of these other things? And the reason that this is important is because when we put our focus on anything, it puts energy on that. And what we put energy on creates reality in the world. So your mind might be saying, oh, but you don't get it. You know, they really are doing that. Well, yes, they really are. So what? What are you going to do about that? Are you going to sit and be victimized by it? Are you going to whine about it? Are you going to feel like there's nothing you can do about it? It's hopeless. Some degree and some realities that might be true. But you know what you have 100% control over? You have 100% control over how you are framing this. You have 100% decision-making process about how you are going to be with what's going on. And are you taking action to do anything about it? I know that the whole world has been split tremendously by this last election. So some people feel this way, some people feel that way, and ultimately there isn't any right or wrong. And what it gives us to do as individuals is it gives us the opportunity to see how we're framing things. Are we going to just shut off the rest of the world if they don't think like we do? Are we going to do something about it if we don't like it? In other words, are we out there voting? I've spoken to people that are complaining like crazy about the government, but they never even voted. So how silly is that? And what kind of action are you taking in what we'll call the outer world, in far as legislation, as far as voting, as far as what things that you stand for or you like? Or how are you handling what it is that's in your headset? You know, headset and mindset is something that I'm really big on because I know, and I want to remind you, because you probably know this already, that your happy, sad, mad, or glad is coming 100% from how you are perceiving, framing, and experiencing your life. No one, and I mean no one, can make you feel a certain way. You have the ability to determine how you want to be with any given circumstance. So that means that when something occurs that you maybe aren't comfortable with, do you react or do you respond? And there's a big differentiation between these two things. When you react, boom, you're a knee-jerk reaction. It's just like, this comes out and you lose it with somebody and you just kind of are just like on autopilot with all of your own personal stuff coming up and jumping out at someone else. When you respond, you take a breath and you just kind of be with what's going on there. You notice how you feel in your body. You notice the thoughts that are going on like crazy, saying, oh, I want to say this, and I want to attack them, and I want to make them be clear that I'm right, and they're messing me up, and all that kind of stuff. Well, that's responding means that you may be noticing that, but you're not reacting to them. Instead, you take the breath, you be the observer, and you think, okay, what's my purpose for responding right now? And what it is that I'm about to say, what is the purpose of that? Am I trying to be right? Or am I trying to make them feel guilty? Or am I wanting to feel better than them? Or am I just trying to grab all the power in the situation? What is it for you? It's an interesting thing to observe. When you start really observing yourself and how you be, how your personality reacts or responds or frames or any of these things, you're really starting to do some very deep introspection about how your life is being the way it is that you are actually framing it, the way you're thinking about it, the way you're being with it. So if your life isn't looking exactly like what it is that you would like, then you get to make the decision about how you want to be with that. The government is just kind of like a macro vision of the micro vision of our lives. There's a lot of control. There's a lot of secrecy. There's a lot of privacy. There's a lot of scandal. There's a lot of everything going on. But you know what? It's everywhere. It's everywhere. So since this is a place where we live, where you're going to have this up, down, right, wrong, good, bad, all of these things, then accept that, and then you step into, you hear me say it a lot, the eye of the hurricane. You notice the world's doing what it's doing, but you're not lost in it. Now that's a big step. It's a big order because it is so consistently habitual that we be like everybody else, because that's the way our world is set up. Our world is set up in a way that says that if we don't be like everybody else, we don't fit in. And if we don't fit in, then we don't feel loved, lovable. We don't feel like we have any value, because by nature, that personality of ours, which feels insecure and basically fearful all the time, it wants to do whatever it can do to get that sense of safety and that sense of feeling loved and lovable. So I know that I'm speaking about all these different things today, but they all point to one thing. Who are you and how do you choose to be in any given circumstance? And do you feel like a victim, or do you feel like you can stand up, be the observer, and then make choices to frame things and be with your life in a way that you recognize that your government can't control you, your relationship can't control you, your money can't control you, your health can't control you, nothing can control you. Nothing can control you unless you let it. Unless you give your power away to it, unless you jump over into that subject matter and you start feeling like you are a victim of it. Now, that doesn't mean that there aren't physical things that are going on that you may not want to be in the midst of. If somebody is physically abusive, for example, that doesn't mean you just sit over there and observe yourself being attacked. I'm not suggesting that. But I am suggesting that you notice that you have options about that. And then your key will be, are you going to really rag on and feel victimized, or are you going to just move on and do something different in your life? You're a powerful being. You are empowered already. And sometimes we forget that. So I'm here to remind you that you are an amazing being, that you have control over how you feel, how you think, and how you be in the world. You can't control necessarily to any great degree whether the sun shines or whether it doesn't, whether it rains or whether it snows, whether the government is having all their things going on or not, or whether everybody else's relationship is a mess doesn't mean that yours has to be. And even if yours from one perspective would look like it, how are you seeing it? Are you using it as an opportunity to grow yourself? Or are you using it to squelch yourself and become less and disempowered, rather than saying, I can be stronger because of this. I can focus more intently on how it is that I choose to be in these circumstances. This is a powerful message that I'm giving you today, and I invite you to watch this a second time. I invite you to share this with everybody that you can possibly think of. And I invite you to comment, because I love your comments. And I appreciate you being here with me and continuing to evolve into more joy, which is what I know each and every one of us really want more than anything. So you can decide for today how it is that you want to be, and you can share this with as many people as you are willing to, because when we're all on the same page of desiring to be all we're capable of being with the greatest attitude ever, then our world will change even more profoundly. So here's my request, in addition to the sharing and all of those things. Please go to my website, isatees.com, and check it out. There's 2 different free options there for you to receive something, and I would love to be a part of your life in a bigger way. So please visit it and share it with other people as well. And your question for today, let's see, what question should we have for today? What if I responded instead of reacted? What if I responded instead of reacted? Contemplate that and practice it. It'll be kind of fun to see how you do. No judgment. No judgment on yourself. Just notice, be the observer. Until next time, feel a hug.